Have you ever wondered if someone around you might be secretly rich? Not the kind of Instagram rich that posts yachts and watches. I mean the real kind. The quiet millionaire who looks like any other person grabbing a black coffee at Starbucks. They don't dress to impress. They don't talk about money. And that, in fact, is the first sign that someone is secretly wealthy. Their silence speaks louder than any display of status. The truly wealthy rarely mention the 3 E's: earnings, expenses, and excess. They don't brag about how much they make because they don't need to prove anything. When you're still trying to convince the world you're successful, it usually means you're not there yet. But when you've already built real wealth, validation becomes irrelevant. You don't talk about money, you let your peace of mind do the talking. They also never boast about expensive stuff. While others show off new cars or luxury vacations online, the quiet rich stay silent. Not because they can't afford those things, but because they don't need anyone to know. That calm restraint, that quiet confidence, is a powerful signal of genuine wealth. And the 30 they avoid is excess. They know that true luxury isn't having the flashiest car or biggest house. It's having options, freedom, time, the ability to live on your own terms. Most people chase wealth to look rich. The truly wealthy, they chase peace. It's funny. Once you start paying attention, you'll realize that the loudest people in the room are usually broke, and the quiet ones often own the room itself. Now, the second sign that someone is quietly wealthy is hidden in plain sight. It's the car they drive. If you really want to spot someone who's quietly rich, take a look at what they drive. It's rarely a brand new Porsche or a flashy Mercedes. More often, it's something modest, a 7-year-old Toyota, maybe a slightly worn Lexus, or an older Honda that still runs perfectly. See, wealthy people understand something that most don't. A car is not a status symbol. It's a liability on wheels. The moment you drive a new car off the lot, it starts losing value. Every day, every mile, every parking lot ding slowly eats away at the money you spent. And the rich? They hate that kind of waste. They'd rather let someone else pay for the early years of depreciation than buy it once the price drops and the curve flattens. It's smart math. Think about it. If you skip a $700 a month car payment and invest that money instead, that's over $8,000 a year working for you, not against you. Over a decade, that can grow to more than $100,000. And that's just one decision. The quiet rich aren't anti-luxury. They just play the long game. While everyone else is fighting to look successful, they're quietly stacking assets and sleeping well at night. The new car smell fades fast, but the feeling of financial peace? That lasts for decades. The third sign might surprise you. It's not about how much they spend, but what they choose to spend it on. Secretly wealthy people don't buy flashy watches or designer bags just to post online. Their spending is more intentional, often invisible to anyone around them. They invest in what most people never even consider: time, freedom, and unique experiences. For example, they'll pay for things that give them their time back: a personal chef who handles their meals, a cleaning service that frees up their weekends, or even paying extra for direct flights just to skip the hassle of airport layovers. To them, time is the ultimate currency. It's the one thing you can't earn back once it's gone. They also have unusual hobbies. Things like collecting rare art, fine wine, or even vintage guitars. But here's the key difference. They don't collect to impress. They collect because they care. Because the item tells a story, carries meaning, or reflects something about who they are. It's a kind of quiet luxury. Not the look at me type, but the kind that whispers, "This is mine, and that's enough." And if you think about it, this mindset changes everything. Most people spend money to escape their lives. The wealthy spend money to enhance theirs. They use money as a tool, not a trophy. And that shift, from showing off wealth to designing a better life, that's when things really start to change. The fourth sign of quiet wealth has nothing to do with possessions. It's about perception. It's how carefully they manage their image. Quietly wealthy people know how people think. They know that envy is a silent companion to success. Even your closest friends, the ones who truly like you, might feel a small flicker of comparison when you win. It's human nature. So instead of flaunting their achievements, the wealthy often minimize them. Ask them how they're doing financially, and they'll probably say something vague like, "I'm doing all right," or we're comfortable. Meanwhile, they might have a net worth that could buy half your neighborhood. It's not dishonesty, it's discretion. Because they understand that showing too much can attract the wrong kind of attention. Flashy wealth creates resentment, envy, and sometimes even danger. Quiet wealth creates peace. I once met a man worth over $100 million, the kind of money most people can't even imagine. He casually mentioned, "Honestly, I'm poor compared to my friends." And he meant it. It struck me how even at the top, people still compare themselves upward. It's a loop that never ends, unless you choose to step off the treadmill entirely. That's the real flex of the quietly rich. They don't need to impress anyone. They protect their peace more fiercely than their possessions, because they know that once your life becomes a show, you stop being the director and start being the performance. The fifth sign of hidden wealth is subtle but powerful. They pay close attention to the little things most people overlook. That's a paradox that surprises most people. You might see them comparing $25 power banks on Amazon, reading reviews for hours, yet they'll replace a $15,000 roof without hesitation. Sounds contradictory, right? But it's not. It's all about intent. Wealthy people understand the difference between a want and a need. The roof? That's a necessity. A leaking roof destroys your house if you wait too long. So you spend, fix it fast, and move on. But that new gadget, that random subscription, that trendy purchase you might use, those are wants. And the rich don't let wants quietly drain their wealth. They've trained their brains to spot the tiny leaks that sink financial ships. The kind of everyday waste most people ignore. Delivery fees, emotional spending, random upgrades. They see it all as clutter. That's because the truly wealthy often started out not wealthy. These habits come from years of watching every dollar. And even when they reach the point where money isn't an issue, they keep those same instincts. It's not about being cheap, it's about being conscious. When you question where your money goes, you start to understand where your power goes too. The sixth sign that someone is secretly wealthy is patience, the quiet art of waiting while everyone else rushes. In a world where most people want everything now, they're comfortable waiting. Waiting for the right investment, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for the right moment to buy something they've had their eye on for months. They understand something most people never do. Time filters out bad decisions. When the average person wants something, they buy it instantly. The dopamine hits, the excitement fades, and what's left is another forgotten purchase sitting in the closet. The wealthy, on the other hand, wait. They let emotion cool down so logic can take over. Sometimes they still buy it, but more often they realize they didn't really want it in the first place. They also know that most sales are psychological traps. A store can slap a red tag on a fake discount and suddenly make people believe they're saving money when they're actually just spending it. Wealthy people see through this illusion. They know patience creates its own kind of profit. Because almost everything, whether it's a stock, a property, or even a product, eventually goes on sale for those who can wait long enough. This mindset is powerful beyond money. It's the same principle that makes investors wealthy and entrepreneurs successful. They can delay gratification. They can say no to small pleasures now for bigger rewards later. And here's the quiet truth. Most people can't even delay gratification for 24 hours. But those who can wait months or even years end up living lives that everyone else spends decades chasing. And finally, the seventh sign of true wealth is found where you least expect it, inside a modest home that doesn't need to prove anything. If you really want to understand someone's relationship with money, look at how they live, not how they show they live. Quietly wealthy people often live in homes far below what they can afford, not because they have to, but because they want to. It's counterintuitive, right? You'd expect someone with millions to have a mansion, a pool, maybe a full staff, but most of them don't. Their homes are comfortable, not enormous. Tasteful, not showy. Often, you'd never guess they could pay cash for something 10 times the price. And that's exactly the point. Because a bigger house doesn't just cost more money, it costs more life. More rooms to clean, more furniture to buy, more things to maintain. And once you upgrade, it's almost impossible to go back. You start decorating for guests instead of yourself. You start working harder to sustain a lifestyle that was supposed to make you free. The quietly rich refuse to play that game. They'd rather live in a space that serves them, not one they have to serve. Many of them own their homes outright. No mortgage, no monthly stress, no debt hanging over their heads. Just peace. And here's the irony. They could have the biggest house in the neighborhood, but they're often the ones cutting their own grass, simply because they enjoy it. There's a quote I love that explains this perfectly. There are 3 levels of rich. The first is cutting your own grass because you have no money. The second is paying someone else to cut it because now you do. And the third is cutting it yourself again, because you finally have the time and freedom to enjoy it. That's the real definition of wealth, when you no longer need to prove anything to anyone, when your life is yours again, not loud, not flashy, just yours. If this video gave you something to think about, hit like to support the channel. And if you want to keep learning about money, mindset, and freedom, subscribe and be part of this journey. Thank you.